Ready to go? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Director of Academics and the graduands. Okay, now that you've all comfortably found your seat, I invite the graduands and our guests to please stand for the faculty procession. Okay, you may all be seated. So welcome to the September 2023 graduation ceremony of Maastricht School of Management at Maastricht University. I want to apologize already for all the students that I did not greet as you were waiting outside. Now you can see why. I was rushing here, but hopefully we have a chance to say hi after the ceremony. It's my honor to once again be the master of ceremony today at this very important event, which marks the transition of our guests of honor from students to alumni. My name is Oliver Olson. I'm a faculty member and I teach marketing and strategy here at MSM. I've had the pleasure to spend time with probably most of the students here in the room, and those that I haven't had a chance to teach, I hope to teach you at some other point in the future in the executive PhD program perhaps. So we are happy to have you here for this wonderful event. But before we officially start, we have some housekeeping to get out of the way, some of the ground rules for today's ceremony. So first, regarding your phones, we are in the day and age where I don't ask you to turn your phones off. In fact, I ask you to keep your phones on, but I do ask you to turn the ringers off. We don't need any funny sounds coming from your phone as your family calls to congratulate you. But keep the phone on, because we do have some hashtags. You can see, well, we have hashtags. MSM Graduation 23, MSM Graduation 23, all one word. We count on you, I'm telling you, as your marketing professor, let's get the word out there. Let's help us get some trending going for MSM Graduation 23. And you can do that on all the platforms you know and love. It could be X, it could be TikTok, it could be many other places that I'm not familiar with anymore. You can also tag us at snail for the Hungarians, ampersand, at Maastricht School of Management. But you don't need to worry yourself with taking photos. And of course, you won't be able to stop yourself, I know. But if you look around, we have professional photographers here. So you can actually enjoy today's ceremony through these eyes instead of through this eye. We have photographers, and any of you that have attended any graduations in the past or seen them, there will be hundreds of high-quality photos available at the website that will be posted later. So you can concentrate on enjoying the day and tagging. Write things, write beautiful things in your social media about today's event and the graduates. Now, the entire ceremony is also being recorded. We have video recorders here. There's a live stream for anyone who can't be present here today. You can find a link at the MSM website, www.msm.nl, and there you can find a link to the live stream. You can also find links on X and let all your friends know. Remember, hashtag MSM Graduation 23. Now, as I said, both the videos and the photos will be available after the event, so relax. Enjoy the event and celebrate the day with your loved ones or those that you're here to celebrate. Let someone else do the work, for once. Now, in case of emergency, you do see the little green and white arrows. Please locate the nearest exit. So in case, in the rare event of a fire or flood, rare, you know a quick way to exit. We're very safe here at Mecc. Now, at the end of today's ceremony, it's not the end of the celebration. You're all invited, yes, everyone that's here that hears my voice, even if you're on video, if you can get here fast enough, you're invited for our after-dinner party, which will be at Rebel. Now, I'm not from here, so I'm not sure if I said that well, but Rebel is a beautiful location actually downtown. Most of you that have been students know it's the church that is no longer used as a church, but that doesn't help you because there's about 10 buildings here that are churches no longer used as churches. But we'll help you get there. And the celebration will be starting at 6 o'clock and will continue until 11 o'clock. We're downtown, so some of you may continue whatever we don't need to hear about after that. Now, please make sure you're at the buses. There will be buses going from Mecc to Rebel. They will be leaving exactly at 5:30, and the buses will not be coming back. You're on your own. It's just a one-way trip into downtown Maastricht. The buses will be present at the main entrance of Mecc, which is where P4. If you're not sure which one's the main entrance, follow the signs for P4. If any of you have come by car and need a parking ticket, there are vouchers that you'll get near the cloakroom as you exit today. So just look for the people with vouchers for parking as you leave. So at the end of the ceremony, the students and faculty, the ones that came in last, are kindly requested to hand in their gowns on time for the departure of the buses. So you will have a half hour to get those handed in. Otherwise, we send you a bill of about 1,000 euros per outfit. So you need to get those handed in right away. Now, about the coming ceremony, I have good news and bad news. Good news. No, I'll start with the bad news. Bad news. Today's ceremony is going to be longer than Barbie. The good news, it's going to be shorter than Oppenheimer. But by about 1 minute. This is going to be 3 hours. It's going to be a wonderful 3 hours. I don't want you to start looking at your clock 2 hours in and saying, is it almost over? No, there's still an hour to go. These are going to be 3 wonderful hours. We're going to be celebrating these students. You're not here just to celebrate the one student that you're here to celebrate. We're here collectively celebrating all the students. And at such a ceremony, which these students are only getting a master's in management once in their life, an MBA once in their life, it deserves a proper ceremony to celebrate that. So we will be here 3 hours. We'll have some wonderful guest speakers. We'll hear from the students themselves. We'll have some music. We'll have some videos. We will laugh, we'll cry, we'll enjoy the time together. So sit back and relax today. Now, I would like to officially start now the ceremony by welcoming not only our graduates on this special day, but we'll also have special guests here today. So I want to welcome our keynote speaker, which we'll be hearing from later, Mrs. Florissa de Leo Magambi. In addition, we want to welcome our leaders from our partner universities. We have from Nanjing University, Professor Liu Chunlin, the Secretary of CPC Committee for Nanjing University Business School. We also have Professor Wang Quansheng, and apologies for my pronunciation, the Vice Dean of Nanjing University Business School. And Kathy Lee, it's wonderful to see you again, our Assistant Director for the International MBA Education Center at Nanjing University Business School. We're also joined by a representative from our partner, MSM Romania, which holds a special place in my heart after helping start that 13 years ago now. And so Miss Denisa Nuber is here, the Director of Education. So thank you for joining us on this special occasion. And your graduates also thank you for the honor you've given them. We also need to, of course, welcome the management, staff, and faculty of MSM, and the family and friends of our students, both here and in person, and on the live stream. All of you know that you couldn't have done it without them, all of them together, your family, faculty somewhat, your friends, and especially your classmates. To start today's ceremony, I would like to introduce Mr. Meinhard Ganz. Mr. Ganz is a longtime member of the management board of MSM, initially in the capacity, a long time ago, of Director of International Project Operations and Consultancies. Currently, he's working in the capacity of the Director of Maastricht School of Management. Mr. Ganz is an economist and chartered accountant by background. However, he's mainly been involved in MSM's project operations. He has a track record of project work in around 50 countries, in numerous assignments, working for the higher education sector, government, and the business community. In fact, I believe he played a key role in the start of our cooperation with Nanjing University more than 20 years ago. Throughout his long tenure at MSM, he's been involved in the development and startup of many of MSM's landmark programs, including the MBA itself, the Global MBA series with our partners around the world, executive education programs, and MSM's international project operations, now called the Expert Center in Emerging Economies. So I would like to welcome Mr. Meinhard Ganz to the stage.
Thank you, Oliver. Keep making me feeling old after this introduction every year, but there's no change to that in that respect. Thank you. Respected guests, dear participants and family, colleagues, in particular the colleagues from China, Professor Liu, Professor Wang, Ms. Nuber from Romania, people in the audience here, and people that attend via live stream, welcome to this event. In capacity of Director of Maastricht School of Management, I'm really privileged on behalf of all my MSM colleagues here to be here to participate in this graduation ceremony for the MBA programs, various MBA programs, and the Master of Management programs. This is really the high point that we have every year. It's a special occasion for a number of reasons. First and foremost, of course, for you as students. This is the moment, here and now, where you graduate after the hard work that you put in the program, the perseverance, but in particular, I think the hard work that you had to put in to be here at this point in time and this place. In a way, it's also a special moment for MSM. As you probably know, MSM has a track record of 70 years, 71 years, as a matter of fact now, as an independent business school. But last year, September, we merged with Maastricht University. We landed in the faculty, the School of Business and Economics. And this is where we are now. So this past year that you spent with us also was a year of a transition for MSM. This was a year that we became part of Maastricht University and where also a matter for us, an issue of dealing with challenges, becoming part of a large organization, a public university, probably as you know it, a bit of a bureaucratic organization, and relocating to where we are now in the city center. So also for Team MSM, it has been a year with a bit of a search process to find our way, and basically where the past 70 years that we have, the history, the track record that we have, met with the future of MSM. And here we are now as the future of MSM. And you as students have been witnessing this process with us. The period we live in now is a VUCA world, as we call it, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. A lot of turbulence and a lot of social transitions. It's one of those rare moments in time that marks a change in the world order, making it interesting, but of course also a very challenging period to be a business leader, to be an entrepreneur, or a leader in the public sector. Over the past years, many of the traditional paradigms that we have, the certainties that we have in life, have changed drastically. Life, of course, implies change, but for all kinds of reasons, and the COVID pandemic being one of them, we now face changes that were anticipated 10 or 20 years down the line and just came to us overnight, and this is where we have to deal with it. And it's just the beginning. One of the drivers will be life in the area of artificial intelligence, big data, social media, life in a largely virtual environment, and life controlled by the systems around us. We have to get used to that. Question to that effect is whether we as individuals, as persons, are still in control over our actions, our behavior, our life as such? Or do we allow the systems around us to take charge of our life? Imagine the way that we drive cars nowadays. In the past, when you look at 10 years, 20 years ago, in case you had a driver's license then, imagine how you were controlling the car in terms of how to drive, how to deal with it, what to do with it, etc. Nowadays, car is telling us how to drive, how to deal with it. It's basically controlling us. And as you imagine now, this is everything that we have around us now. The systems are basically controlling us. When you deal with government, when you deal with business enterprises, it's all scripted, it's all based on certain systems, the way it works, whether we like it or not. But that's the way that it is. These are the transitions that will impact society in general, and of course, it's impacting our personal life. And this is also where you, as the students, are coming in as the future managers. It also translates in how organizations, institutions, business communities, government agencies, and for example, also universities, how they work, how they function effectively. Changes at organizational level translate into remote work practices, managing distant virtual workforces, becoming standard practice now, and changing the what, how organizations perform, and hence how leadership will have to be to make it work. managerial aspects, how to manage people in organizations, how to steer, how to control, how teamwork is driving innovation, what inclusive management is all about, how to set and impose standards, just to name a few, all need new paradigms, how to function, how to make it work. This is a time that requires new leadership, and the question is to what extent it differs from what we so far consider leadership. I'm afraid that there are no ready-made answers to this yet, but you as a student will be part of the process to develop these answers. You may consider the workplace now to be a living lab where the future is basically reinvented, and you're part of that. There's one certainty in that respect: it's change. It's surrounding us, it has been surrounding us, it will continue to surround us in increasing speed. Don't anticipate that your learning journey ends here and now. It's just the start of a new stage. That's a reality that you have to deal with. Part of the basic traits of leadership remain, irrespective of the setting in which you operate, including aspects like operating value-driven, leading by example, inclusive leadership, entrepreneurial mindset, and a global perspective. Many of these competencies operating under drastically changing conditions are not yet fully reflected in the textbooks or the case studies. I hope that our program provided you with the core assets, the skills, the mindset, the drive to allow you to further unlock your leadership potential to that effect. It's been a learning journey in all kinds of ways, developing your competencies and skills inside and outside the classroom through the regular teaching process by our faculty, however, also importantly, the mutual learning through your fellow participants. As such, it has been a global, cross-cultural learning journey with many nationalities and cultures in the classroom and also represented here in the room. This multicultural dimension may have complicated the learning process in a way. However, we expect that in the end, it has made it a rich, a unique, and a rewarding experience that will benefit you for life as a global citizen. For the MSM full-time students in particular, the ceremony ends an intensive period of study in Maastricht. It came with many sacrifices in terms of your family life and your personal life. It's hard to be away from family and friends for such a long time, facing the various uncertainties that it brings to all being in a place like Maastricht, although it's a very nice place indeed, but still far away from your family. This period is coming to an end now. It's a matter of going back to your regular life, getting out of the pressure cooker here in Maastricht. I hope that this transition back to a family life and your work life also will be successful, but it may be complicated in a way as well, the same as the transition 1 year ago when you started here was also complicated. For our team MSM, this ceremony marks the end of our intensive relation that we have with you as the participants. We have, throughout the process, been providing our educational inputs, some counseling and guidance, occasionally some disciplining where it was needed, trying to provide also comfort and encouragement and acting as a surrogate family. Altogether, Team MSM, we've been trying to share the learning journey with you, and also this process is, for us as Team MSM, coming to an end. We trust that MSM once more has graduated a cohort of students that will become part of a new generation of leaders able to face new, partially uncharted sets of challenges. Let me congratulate you with the successful reaching the end of your study program and your graduation and being in this room at this point in time. For the record, I express on behalf of all my colleagues of MSM community, deep respect to you for what has been achieved in this extraordinary effort. I wish you every success in life, personal, family life, career-wise, after completing this learning journey. For our graduates, for this moment onwards, you'll be MSM and Maastricht University ambassadors. Enjoy this moment of celebration today, and from tomorrow onwards, stay in touch with us as alumni and as MSM ambassadors. Finally, also want to express my sincere thanks to the MSM academic community and to the support teams. Team MSM, I want to pay tribute to the outstanding performance in again delivering this group of students at this point in time, at this location. I look forward to work with you to safeguard the unique spirit of the organization of MSM, operating in a new setting, as we all know, working towards the realization of our ambitions, contributing to a maximum extent to the global leadership, development and challenges, and fostering sustainable economic development. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meinhard. There was a phrase in there that I really liked. I had to make a note of. It says, multicultural classroom may hinder the learning process. And I never thought about that, but I then realized, but so trees, rocks, ice, weather also hinder the journey to the top of the mountain. But the view is great when you get there. Yeah, the multicultural classroom did make it tough for some of you. But boy, the journey was unlike any you've ever had. And so thank you for the kind words, Meinhard. And actually that flows a little bit well into our guest speaker today. Floressa, you may remember March 2018. So our guest speaker today, who's also a recent graduate, I mentioned March 2018 because that's when I interviewed her to join the program. And I went back and looked at my notes, and already out of the possible points we can give in an interview, it was almost the maximum, which we don't do in the Netherlands. And I put, this is going to be a great student with a great multicultural background who's going to bring some great dynamics to the classroom. And those who had the pleasure to study with you probably will be able to attest to that. So it was really a pleasure to see that we join us today. But now let me more formally introduce our guest speaker today. So Floressa De Leo Magambi was born in Milan, Italy in 1976. Sorry to give your age away, it's there. Her passion for languages and her interest for other cultures took her from Europe from her teenage years, or to Europe, and eventually she lived and worked in the UK, France, and Germany in the tourism and corporate sectors for several years. So far, pretty standard. In 2008, Floressa settled in Malawi, starting a long-term commitment to people living in Dzaleka refugee camp with her husband, Innocent, himself a former refugee. In collaboration with women living in the refugee camp, Floressa slowly began making toys, decor, and accessories, initially selling them to friends, and then at the small farmers market in Lilongwe, Malawi. It soon became evident that this initiative had power to connect the skilled but isolated women of the refugee camp with people who cared for beautiful and ethical products outside of Malawi. 13 years later, Kibebe is a registered enterprise staffed by Malawian women and powered by a workforce of artisans living in and around Dzaleka, some of whom live with disabilities or care for children with disabilities. Products are sold widely in Malawi as well as online in the United States. Floressa even received a knighthood for her work in solidarity with refugees by the President of the Republic of Italy, while Kibebe received awards by UN Seed, as well as by the President of the Republic of Malawi, for its social and ecological impact. Aside from leading Kibebe, Floressa supports her husband, Innocent, with refugee rights and advocacy work. And I will add all this while studying for an MBA along all of you. Very impressed, and we're very pleased to have you here joining us today, and we look forward to your words. Please come to join us.
Thank you. Yeah. I just realized that the introduction leaves no surprise about what I'm about to share with you all. But honestly, it's such an amazing day to be in a room full of people from so many different places to say how proud we are of you for what you have achieved at MSM and through MSM. And I will say that MSM is the best school where you could do a master's at. Is that fair? In my opinion, the reason is that MSM cares for business people who will make a difference in the world and not just pursue wealth accumulation. In 2019, I was already in my 40s, as you now all know. And because I was leading a nonprofit, MSM allowed me a scholarship, which meant I could afford to do the online MBA. That acceptance made me feel seen and appreciated, not just for what I had achieved up until then, but it gave me the sense that MSM saw the potential that I still had ahead of me. Today, I will share my story with you all, and full disclosure, when I was asked to give this keynote speech, I thought maybe my social media makes me seem more successful than I actually am, and the imposter syndrome taunted me for a little bit. But then I realized that although I'm not the typical business success example, maybe the way that the world has changed means that those typical examples are not always relevant anymore. So I left Italy right after high school. I was 19 years old, and I moved to the UK looking for independence from my parents. I didn't really have a long-term plan. I had studied European languages in high school, German, French, and so I got jobs in the hospitality sector, in the tourism sector. And then through a friend, I had a lucky break, and I got a job at the European headquarters of Visa International, the credit card company. There, I tasted the sweetness of corporate life, gym benefits, private dental insurance, we had it all. Great snacks in the cafeteria. And in a way, it was what I thought I always wanted. In that season of life, however, I became a Christian. I don't know what that may mean to different people in this room, but for me, it was a transformative experience about the way in which I saw the world and myself in it. It's as if I had a glimpse of the fact that all of us are interconnected, not just across geographical distance, cultures, languages, but even across time. And by this I mean that, if the world is a huge puzzle and each of us is a tiny piece, every choice, every decision, every action that we take has the potential to affect the course that humanity takes. So with that new view of the world and of myself, while I was working, I got involved in community volunteering, evenings, weekends. I had a great time and made lots of connections. I felt really motivated, and I felt joyful and purposeful. So much so that at some point I asked for a sabbatical from Visa, and for 3 months I just did volunteering in London. And that gave me the confirmation that when I grew up, I wanted to do something like that. And so I quit my job with great surprise from my parents. But I quit, and I went on to longer and longer trips of community volunteering and learning overseas, and sort of came back in between to get some jobs in Europe, to earn some money, and went off again. Until in 2008, I decided to move to Malawi, Africa. And a year later, I was married to Innocent. Ooh. You've been looking at my wedding pictures all this time. I wanted it to be a wow, never mind. Wow, thank you. But what was really wow, it was a very simple wedding. And for those here who are familiar with the great Burundian drumming tradition, we had the Burundian drummers at our wedding. That's what made it most special. But it was a very simple wedding. But what was extraordinary was the coming together of two people who had apparently nothing in common. Because Innocent was born in a refugee camp in the DR Congo. And over 27 years of his life, the first 27 years, he lived across 5 different refugee camps in Africa. At the time when we met, he was living in Dzaleka refugee camp in Malawi. I'm this European girl from a working class family, nothing extraordinary, but I had been exposed to the privileges that life in Europe offers. So it was sort of a fairy tale relationship. And definitely we felt that together we could take on anything. We had no money, but Innocent he had received a scholarship for a degree in theology outside of the refugee camp in the city of Lilongwe. And during that time, he felt that he wanted to give back to his community. So he had this vision of an organization called There Is Hope. Okay. And when we got married, the work began in earnest, meaning that though we had no budget, me and him, we were the staff, and we were working alongside the refugees and trying to create opportunities for education, for training. Now, I want you to mentally fast forward to today, and There Is Hope is a well-established Malawian NGO with a staff of 50 Malawian professionals, which has given thousands of people that live in the refugee camp as well as in the country of Malawi opportunities to study at secondary school, university, to do vocational training and leadership courses. This came from a vision of someone who didn't have money to buy toothpaste. As of a couple of years ago, the new executive director of There Is Hope is a Malawian female leader. And I would like to go a bit deeper to really appreciate what that means. You know, Innocent has lived all his life in poverty as a refugee in camps, and then he gets an opportunity to study, and then he gets a vision to do something, and miraculously, this thing takes off and grows, and we had funding from the EU. It became a thing. And it was the first tangible thing that he could point to and say, that's mine. And then he gives it all away 15 years into it. That move made such a mark in the community around us because I don't know where you're from, how things are, but in our context, many leaders suffer from excessive attachment to power, and they really struggle to let go. And sometimes they just need to die to let go, and then they leave it to their brothers or their nephews or their children. And so Innocent gave an example, a remarkable example of a founder who plans for succession still in their lifetime and based on merit. And I'm really proud of that about him. So let's go back to the fairy tale and the relationship part of things. 1 year into our marriage, we had our first child. Can you say, oh? Now, take a good look. This is our daughter, Muiza. Muiza means good and beautiful. Muiza brought with her a revolution. She turned our lives upside down. Muiza had holoprosencephaly, this word that I didn't even know existed before she was born. And then, like one of these revolving doors, at her birth, we were thrown into a world of brain malformation, face malformation, internal organs not working. It took such effort to remain present in that season of life because it was just full of questions. Why was she born with a disability? Was it something I had done while I was pregnant? How could we keep working and taking care of her at the same time? She needed surgery. We had to come back to Europe for months on end. We were in hospital weeks and weeks at a time. The alarm reminder on our phones went off 17 times every 24 hours because those were the doses of medication that we had to administer. And we got to know families all around us who lived in this daily reality of medical emergency. It's a parallel world. Like, until you get to step into it, you live your life unaware that it exists, but it's the reality for many people. So that very deep, personal experience of pain changed the way in which I would then relate to the refugee community going forward. And you may wonder, what's that got to do with the refugees? So let me explain. When we had Muiza, some people had the tendency to treat us with a little bit of pity. You know, they were well-meaning, but the compassion sometimes just felt so awkward, and something inside of me started to shift. I think, and I hope, and I pray that my white savior complex began to get uprooted then. So, since the very beginning of Muiza's life, we didn't know what spectrum her disability would fall at, you know. And so I wanted to give her toys that would indicate whether she could react to sound or colors. And in Malawi at the time, I couldn't find what I really wanted, which was soft, squeaky, crinkly kind of books that I had seen in Europe before. And I thought, Malawi has some beautiful textile at the market. We could make something. So when Muiza died at the age of 20 months, I had time to work with some ladies at the refugee camp who were seamstresses on this idea. I want to show you the book that we made. Beautiful, right? So there was some crinkle paper inside, there was a squeaker at the back, and lots of colors, and you know, babies can chew on it, and all of that. And I thought it was brilliant, and I asked the ladies if we could make maybe 10 other samples so that we could sell it to people that we knew, friends and family, and raise money, you know, for the refugee camp. And I asked them, what can we call this book? And so we settled on the name Ki Bebe, which is their way of referring to a nice, chubby, healthy baby, okay? Because in Africa, if you're big, you're on the right track. And at the time, our second son, or second child, Theo, was 6 months old. So here he is, modeling for mommy. So that was the beginning of me starting to work in the refugee camp with various groups of women. Some were church groups, other support groups. Now, we were a very strange but very good match, one for the other, because I had ideas, plenty of ideas. You know, now with another child, I wanted decoration for the bedroom and lots of things that I kind of had in my memory from having lived in Europe. But I don't know how to sew. I didn't know where to begin to make them come to life. Now, the ladies could sew, could crochet, embroider, amazing. But they needed to make products that people outside the camp would buy, because that's where the money is. So, you know, again, I am grateful that we depended one on the other like that, because it wasn't a relationship where one was above and one was below. So let's fast forward again to today. And Kibebe is a brand. It's got a logo, and it's a registered social enterprise in Malawi. We have a staff body of Malawian women graduates. We have 29 artisans, mostly living in the refugee camp, and some Malawians that live around the camp. We pay tax to the government. We export. We have an online shop in the States, and we can export to any part of the world. And as it was said, we received awards from the United Nations. We received awards from the president of Malawi recently. I had a knighthood from the president of Italy. And that's where you could say, wow, this is success. Except that things are really hard, and we keep wondering if we can stay afloat. Now, I don't know, many of you will know where Malawi is, but perhaps not everybody, but we are very far removed from the large export markets. So geographically, that distance costs a lot in terms of shipping overseas. We depend on import for everything except agricultural goods. So to make our products, the textiles are imported, the thread is imported, the needle is imported, the sewing machine is imported. It's really expensive, and the inflation year on year was over 30% last time I checked. Our currency is weak. It's just a lot to contend with. But how can we give up when our artisans display incredible courage in their daily lives? They have the courage to believe that the pain that they have endured for decades isn't their destiny. They have the courage to dream beyond what their reality around themselves tells them. And they have the courage to try, and to try, and to try as if they had nothing to lose. So we just have to find a way to keep going. We are committed to not letting down a people that have already lost so much. And I want to explain what it actually means to live as a refugee in Malawi, because we all have refugees where we come from, but the refugee experience is not the same everywhere, because legislation is different. So the policy that regulates refugees in Malawi says that a refugee must live inside Dzaleka refugee camp indefinitely, okay? Till death do us part. And if they have a child in that camp, that child, same, will never be naturalized. And if that child born in Malawi has a child, the cycle continues. There's no way out. Now, in the refugee camp, sometimes a person receives the equivalent of 4 euros per month to buy food, soap, clothes, whatever they need. Some months they get nothing because aid is dwindling. There's not enough aid. There are some schools and a clinic and water wells, but the congestion inside the camp is such that people wake up at 2 a.m. to go and queue to draw water. And I think only 14% of children have a space in school. So the system is set up in such a way that your humanity is pretty much stripped from you. So when Innocent, my husband, stepped down from the leadership of There Is Hope, he began an organization called Inua Advocacy. Sorry, these are the women that we employ, and men. And this is Inua Advocacy. Inua Advocacy lobbies for a fair treatment of refugees in Malawi. Because Innocent realized that, yes, we had trained and equipped thousands of people, but what were they going to do with that education inside a camp? right? So the policy needed to change for even the charitable work to make sense. And I work with Innocent as the communications director at INUA, and it's a privilege because we are trying to change our world, but it's also completely heartbreaking because I hear stories of injustice and I see the effect that man-made policies have on people. And there's already so much pain in the world that happens and we have no control over, but causing unnecessary pain just infuriates me. So, in the same way that the Kibebe experience has been wonderful and very hard, the experience of Inua advocacy is super important, but it's heartbreaking. Now, systemic change, changing policies, takes a very long time. And people who live in crisis, they can't be waiting for the policy to change before they have their next meal, right? They need to survive in the present. So this takes me back to Kibebe and to why is it important that we make it work. Business is one way in which not only livelihoods, survival, income, and all of that can be restored, but also dignity, human dignity, which I will do whatever I can in my lifetime to make sure that people are not dehumanized, okay? Because that's just plain wrong. Now, why do I talk about dignity and business in the same sentence? I believe that dignity has to do with being able to have a say in the things that affect you, right? Some kind of self-determination. So if you have a job, you have an income, and you get to choose at least what food you're gonna put on the table, what education you give your kids. And if you take them to the terrible clinic, or maybe you go straight to the pharmacy and buy paracetamol, but if you have no money, you have no choice. You have to go to the terrible clinic. And an income allows people to invest a little bit of their extra, leftover money into the things that they care about. So we have some artisans who are Malawian and they have lands around the camp, and they have invested in fertilizer, seed, for growing food, pigs, chickens, and they've even employed other people to work their lands. So that's, a step ahead of the rest. Some refugee artisans have opened small market stalls in the camp to supplement their income. And a group of artisans that you mentioned who either have disabilities or they care for disabled kids. One year when we made a really big income through an export relationship, they took 10% of their income and they built 10 very small, simple houses inside the camp, which now are like a revolving housing project for people with disability who can live there without paying rent. So they went from a disabled refugee without a job, right, to a person with a job, to a person that becomes a benefactor in their own community. I hope you appreciate what a transformation that is. It's not just about the money, it's about identity. So if you're a woman in a situation of poverty, having an income gives you another choice away from survival sex. As I end, I want to encourage all of us, those who are graduating today, but all of us, that the world needs people who build bridges between communities. We here have been exposed to at least 2 different communities, right? The one where we come from, another one where we have been. right? So let's create bridges. And these bridges should go both ways. Both parties should be seen, understood, valued, contribute. And if there's vulnerability there, it shouldn't just be for the poor, the marginalized, whose struggles are always paraded on all kinds of media as if it's public property. Okay, so if there's vulnerability, both sides need to be vulnerable. And let's learn from the refugee community that life takes courage. The courage to believe that our pain will not last forever. The courage to dream beyond what we can attain and what we can see around us. And the courage to try and make it as if we had nothing to lose. Thank you. Oliver, I have one last slide. Innocent and I went on to have twins, which maybe in some of the cultures represented here mean a blessing, a double blessing. And then this is our family today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as a proud father of twins myself, I do echo that it is indeed a blessing. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And this is a great lesson for all of you graduates. As you go back and talk to your family or friends, if you recall 1, 2, 3 years ago when you made this decision, some of your friends may have said, "What is MSM ranked?" And that was a tough question. And some of you may have heard in the past my answer to that. Rankings agencies would have punished us for having her as a student. Because rankings tell us to take a student, give them an MBA, and send them out in the workforce that way to get a high-paying job on Wall Street or on High Street. And I said, that's not what MSM is about. We would consider it a success if somebody quit their job in Wall Street, got their MBA, and went and did social work in Africa. Now, I have to tell you that I've been using that story for years in somewhat hyperbole. But I'm so happy to see that it's reality. This is what we're here for. Rankings don't believe in that. MSM believes in that. Our accreditors believe in that. So you are graduating from, at least for this year, a school that's accredited by 5 different global agencies. 5, not just the Triple Crown, actually 6. The 3 that you've gained from Maastricht University and the 3 that you brought with you from MSM. That's what has value, because that's what enables us to give this opportunity to you. And if I may, one more thing that this has demonstrated is the power of the scholarships. Because you mentioned that without that scholarship, you would not be able to come here. And so we're proud that we've been able to give that scholarship and support you in what you're doing, and we hope to hear from you in the future of many more successes. I hope you've all noted that website so you can go on and order these items as soon as you have your first child, or for the ones you already have, and help support them. Thank you so much for those wonderful words. Yes. Well, in my notes, it says we now come to the highlight of this afternoon, but I have to say that was the highlight of the afternoon already. But we do come to the moment you've been waiting for, and that many of you traveled around the world or around the corner to be here for. This is the handing over of the degrees to our students. So let's do some official words now. The candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Management and Master of Business Administration, please rise. That's basically all of you that are not doctoral students. So, you are doctoral students. Are you master's, MBA, or master's students? That includes executive MBA. The Maastricht School of Management, upon recommendation of the faculty, admits each of you to the master's degree, conferring upon you all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. You may now move the tassel to the right side of your cap, which Did you all feel that? You just transitioned from graduate to alumni. You may now be seated. I'll now invite Ms. Gonzalez-Vigil to the stage.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Good afternoon to everyone joining us in this auditorium or via the live stream. Today we are celebrating because our master students conquered the pressure cooker. Yes. Yes, the pressure cooker is the name we use for our master programs, and it's a huge achievement. Dear graduates, your hard work and persistence pay off. You should be very proud of yourself. You managed the high workloads and time pressure of your programs and made many sacrifices to be here. We also hope that you enjoy this journey and the good memories and lessons will last forever. On behalf of the education staff, it has been a real honor and pleasure to support you during your studies and witness your growth in such a short period. We cannot wait to see where your path will lead you from here. We wish you the best success in your careers and kindly ask you to stay in contact with your MSM family. Now we will start with awarding of the degrees. For this reason, I would like to invite Dr. Stuart Dixon onto the stage. We will start with the degrees from the Master in Management program. I would like to invite the graduates onto the stage. First of all, let me call to Mr. Brahma Nurseta from Indonesia. Mrs. Nasim Sarhadi from Iran. In absentia, Mr. Karim Domiati from Lebanon. In absentia, Mrs. Ksenia Avakian from Russia. In absentia, Mr. Sina Yumak from Turkey. Mrs. Grace Adusei Sarpon from Ghana. Mrs. Marian Kovsiritsi from Georgia, with distinction. Mr. Simon Waterman from Germany, with distinction. Mr. Mohammad Akram Saedi from India. Mr. Rasid Yusuf from India. Mr. Reynold Sebastian from India. Mrs. Renu Ann Rayu from India. In absentia, Mr. Rishijarigan Damodaran from India, with distinction. Mr. Sarmat Trichy Sandeep from India. Mr. Shwetank Sharma from India. Mr. Akbaryan Shah Puneri from Indonesia. Mr. Muhammad Faruz Syafiq from Indonesia. Mrs. Kimia Tanasi from Iran. Mrs. Ayushta Bandari from Nepal. Mrs. Pauline Disomba from Zambia. Congratulations, MM graduates. And now we will continue with the full-time MBA degrees. Mr. Khalilur Rahman from Bangladesh. Mr. Sherif Bashir from Egypt. Mrs. Asha Timarayu from India. Mr. Ashish Agarwal from India. In absentia, Mr. Krisa Santoso from Indonesia. Mr. Amir Hussein Naragi from Iran. Mr. Juan Pablo Ramos from Mexico. Mr. Mario Alberto Rojas Cárdenas from Mexico. Mr. Dinesh Shelatil from New Zealand. In absentia, Mr. Oluseyi Akinobosu from Nigeria. From Peru, Mr. Renzo Gutierrez. From South Africa, Mr. Herman Horn. In absentia, Mrs. Roxette Namusoke from Uganda. Mr. Adnan Al-Eriani from Yemen. Mr. Alejandro Daza from Colombia. Mr. Carlos Dominguez from Colombia. Mr. Ahmed Hodier from Egypt. Mrs. Johanna Galindo Ruiz from Guatemala. Mr. Ahmed Siddiqui from India. Mr. Ali Ansari from India. Mr. Mituraj Karyangatil from India. Mr. Rigang Shukla from India. Mr. Nikhil Vadewale from India. Mr. Rahul Kotiam from India. Mr. Shavichandran Subramanian from India. Mr. Santosh Sukumaran from India. Mr. Valyapang Natarayan from India. Mrs. Nakisa Hosseini from Iran. Mrs. Sepidi Abbasi from Iran. Mr. Kavita Endolo from Kenya. Mrs. Zainab Salemi from Kuwait. Mr. Ronnie Bouchevel from Lebanon. Mrs. Zainab Hassan from Lebanon. Mr. Konstantin Suyev from Russia. Mr. Biuma Rodriguez Ruhasha from Rwanda. Mr. Arno van der Merwe from South Africa. Mrs. Daleen van Rijn from South Africa. Mr. Laurens Bester from South Africa. Mr. Malomi Gibson Seota from South Africa. Mr. Masoud Majid from South Africa. Mrs. Kuntida Narongwatana from Thailand. Mrs. Hannah Benjemia from Tunisia. Mrs. Harriet Okumu from Uganda. Mr. Alisher Yabarov from Uzbekistan. Mrs. Siep Pham from Vietnam. Mrs. Reem Al Eriani from Yemen. Congratulations to the full-time MBA graduates. And let's continue with the executive MBA degrees. Mrs. Barbara Berquema Socrato from Brazil. Mr. Savio Freitas from Brazil. In absentia, Mr. Everton Giacomazzi from Brazil. Mr. Manolo Orellana from Brazil. Mrs. Inara Yanseme from Estonia with distinction. In absentia, Mrs. Angana Buharbarua from India. In absentia, Mr. Amit Chander from India. In absentia, Mr. Pramod Devendra from India. Mr. Mohammed Kamar from India. Mrs. Fosia Sayed from India with distinction. Here. Sarmen Keshizadeh from Iran with distinction. In absentia, Mr. Mona Mourad from Lebanon. Mr. Hans van der Waal from Mexico. Mr. Muhammad Adel Awam from Pakistan. Mr. Masood Riaz from Pakistan. Mr. Razvan Mogos from Romania. Mrs. Afnan Quaderi from United States. Mrs. Verle Barten from the Netherlands with distinction. Mr. Raúl Hayes from the Netherlands with distinction. Mr. Martijn Lamberti from the Netherlands. Mr. Servaas van den Bos from the Netherlands with distinction. Mr. Aaron Hunt from United States with distinction. Mrs. Jennifer Rojas from Venezuela with distinction. Congratulations to the EMBA graduates. And now we will proceed with the degrees of our online program. Mrs. Noreen Michelle Fingerhut from Aruba. Mr. Maher Dakik from Lebanon. In absentia, Mr. Andreas Robert Dorer from Aruba. Mrs. Evalide Eilens from Belgium with distinction. Mrs. Ranim El Yaman from Egypt. Lebanon, correction. In absentia, Mrs. Neha Maheshwari from India. Mr. Rahul Kumar from India. Mr. Ramaswamy Muthu from India. Mr. Lukman Hakim Sudyadi from Indonesia. Mrs. Anna Kwadryavtseva from Russia. Mr. Vitaly Belanov from Russia. In absentia, Mr. Adolf Svanepoel from South Africa. In absentia, Mr. Gorkem Tengir from Turkey. Mr. Duyung Aydin from Turkey. Mrs. Nicole Westbrook from United States with distinction. Congratulations, OMBA graduates. And now we will continue with the award of the MBA degrees from our partner programs. Therefore, I would like to invite my colleague, Yuanyuan Guo, to this podium.
Thanks, Pilar. Dear graduates, congratulations once again on successfully completing your study. Now, I would like to call out the names of graduates from our global education programs. We start with our MBA program at MSM Romania in Bucharest. The first to be called to the stage is Rahul Lankasu. Valeriu Balunu with distinction. Bogdan Kokesh. Tudor Marisaku with distinction. Alina Marin. Teo Masinu. Loredana Modolan. Siviana Atunu Foafika. Bianca Reza. Dragos Skolnachu. Adrian Stanchu. We continue with graduates from Covenant University of Budapest in Hungary. Peter Karakash. Amand Nagy. Simon Svanherberg. Isvan Zalavari. The next is a group from our MBA program at Nanjing University, China. Han Qi. Huang Heyou. Gao Juan. Zhao Mingxi. Shao Lijing. Wang Lu. Zhou Xiaojie. 许燕、杨九龄、王哲、朱黎黎、Next, we have our graduates from MSM Kuwait. Saud Al Amari. Marim El Abdul Razak. Sorry, I can't. Okay. Alda Saad Ahmad El Advani. Zainab El Duri. Naima El Fadri. Salim El Mutari. Khaled El Saif. Anfo El Sia. Iman Ibrahim. Dala Halaf. Mahdi Muhammad. Haya Aram. Thank you, sir. This is my list. And Oliver, please, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. I'm glad they had to say all those names and not me. I've already butchered enough names today. And in case that last graduate looked like she was out of breath, she was. She just arrived right this second, and she ran here and got here in time. So congratulations for your efforts on getting here. And thank you for your patience. That was more than 150 graduates, and that was amazing that all of you have made it. Congratulations to all of you. And I do want to give a special shout out to the online MBA people. How many of you are meeting each other for the first time today? Yeah, that's really amazing. Those have worked together for 2.5 years and just meeting each other today. So congratulations to everybody, though, for all your efforts. Now, you've earned a bit of a break. And what we're going to do is you're going to sit here while we have this wonderful break, because I want to welcome back to the stage our all-time favorite, which has been here many years, the appropriately named, again, the MSM Quartet. We welcome them for their musical intermezzo during this graduation ceremony. And I can guarantee you, until one of us changes our name, you'll keep coming back. But they are not Maastricht School of Management Quartet. They are the Maastricht Society of Music, I believe. So welcome, and I will call your names out as they come to the stage. So we have Joanna Chai on violin from Poland. We have Natalia Czerwinska, which I'm sorry, I cannot say Polish names, on violin from Poland. Pilar, we need you back for these next two. Julia Ferrer Torres-Casana on viola from Spain. And finally, Judith Diaz Alvarez on cello from Spain. So like MSM, they are also very international every year, and they're going to play two pieces for us today. One you may recognize, Vivaldi, Spring, and another one you may recognize, a crazy little song from a crazy band that we know from the 70s and 80s. Enjoy. Thank you, MSM Quartet. And for our MM students, that was Queen, a song called Crazy Little Thing Called Love, a little bit before your time. No, I kid. I'm sure you know those songs better than I do. But thank you again for the musical intermezzo. I would like to invite to the stage now Dr. Stuart Dixon and Mr. Meinhard Gans for the rewarding of some prizes today. So please come to the stage. So we've already seen today during the graduation ceremony, you hear them announce with distinction. So those are students that have reached a certain plateau, and which is a very hard plateau to reach in this program. And again, I congratulate those that have made it with distinction. But for our MM program and our MBA program, each year we like to highlight a couple of outstanding students with, appropriately named, the Outstanding Student Award. So we'll start with the Master in Management. And this year, we actually couldn't choose, so we decided to go with two. Isn't that nice of us? We have two candidates for this year's Best Student Award for the Master in Management program. And the first winner is, you guys made me do this. Okay, I'm going to fight my way through this. Well, let's just say that he received a GPA of 8.75, and his thesis was considered by MSM evaluators to be the best master's thesis in recent years, receiving an exceptionally high score of a 9 on the thesis. Yes, that. I have it here, sir. Besides his academic studies, he has actively participated in many events and activities organized by MSM, including the Sustainable Development Goals Challenge. Okay, I will say the name. Help me out here. Rishias Ringan Damodaran, or we call him Rishi. Please come to the stage. He's not here today, unfortunately, but we still are going to take a picture for the records, and we, though, congratulate him, and we're sorry that he's not here to accept this personally. But we will make sure he gets that award, and I hope all of you classmates have learned to pronounce that correctly during the last year. We have a second one, and the second winner also graduated with a distinction with a GPA of 8.2. Besides their economic study, they were highly invested in their personal development by participating in many events and activities organized by MSM, including the Sustainable Development Goals Challenge. In addition, he represented MSM for the Master in Management program during the accreditation visit from AMBA in June of 2023. Our second winner is Mr. Simon Waterman. Please come. And by the way, those awards do come with some cash. But to protect you, I won't tell your classmates how much. Now we will move over to the MBA program. So we have one outstanding student that we want to recognize this year for their, although there was so many it was hard to choose from. This student's professional background and experience are truly impressive. This graduate's dedication and punctuality throughout the online MBA, as well as their involvement in women empowerment activities, are certainly commendable. She completed her MBA with a GPA of 8.58. Of the 18 MBA courses, she received distinction grades for 17 courses, and her thesis received an 8.3. So the winner of this year's MBA Best Student Award is Evelinda Ehlens. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Meinhardt. Yes. So now comes one of the moments of the ceremony that's sometimes the most fun. You've been hearing from me, you've been hearing from our great speaker and our guest, but now you get to hear from the students themselves. This is where the class representatives or the selected person from each class will come up and say a few words about their program. So the first speech is going to be the valedictory speech from our Master of Management program. Let me please invite to the stage Ms. Pauline Dizomba.
Before I begin, let's take a moment to reflect on how far we've come. From the second we said goodbye to our loved ones and arrived at Tapine, to this moment right here. Wow. I would like to thank God, for this would not have been possible without him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, the MSM faculty, and my fellow graduates. My name is Pauline Dizomba, and I am delighted to stand here before you, proud of not only myself, but the entire class of MM10. Looking back from where we first started, I can say with confidence that this past year has been a period of growth, self-discovery, and self-improvement. From all the insecurities with presenting in front of the class to finding our voices, we are able to take on risks, and I believe we rose up to the challenges, and best believe we are better today. Being an international class, we all had one thing in common. We all took on a risk. We left our comfort zones, our friends and family, to come take a chance at unleashing our full potential. Some have never lived alone. Some have never known to cook. But 1 year down the line, from the knowledge and experiences, I believe we have been cooked. From rare, medium rare, to well done. On a serious note, I'm extremely grateful for my classmates because together we fought through the tough times, cried through the pressure, and above all, held one another's hands throughout it all, especially the thesis, which left many of us questioning our intellectual capabilities. Group works were among some of the challenging things that we had to go through. It certainly wasn't easy. But we persevered and were better team players, ready and equipped to take on these skills in our journey forward wherever it may be. Of course, making MSM proud because they produced good team players and tapping great potential. Despite the challenges, happy moments were also shared. Each one of us can agree that through it all we've accomplished, through it all we're not alone, but we are now with a great team. We have a support system within our class. May we cherish the friendships that we have created and continue to support and encourage each other. Lastly, I would not be doing justice to the MSM faculty if I did not highlight just how amazing, helpful, encouraging, and patient they have been with us from the very moment we pushed in those applications to this beautiful day to here. I am personally grateful for Maud, who has always been there from the time of interviews through to this present moment. I am thankful for Ad, Iris, Terry, Oliver, and Hermina, who has not heard the end of me yet. On behalf of MM10, thank you to the MSM faculty. We would not have come this far without you all. May we please applaud the MSM faculty. To my fellow graduates, it is not time to come down, but rather soar high. Throughout the year, the many experiences we went through, the hurdles we jumped, the chutes we shot, and finally found our purpose. Now let's own it and show the world that we are a breed of MSM which only exerts greatness. Remember, We rise by lifting others. Let's persevere as we step into the real world. Fears may come, but let's rise above them. Always take a gamble on yourself. You will survive. Look at you today. So keep going. Thank you.
I like that. You're well done. And you know what comes next? Dessert. So we're looking forward to that. Our next representative that we welcome to the stage is from our full-time MBA program. So I want to welcome to the stage Johanna Galindo Ruiz.
Whoa, what a year. What an unforgettable journey. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see you all. What an honor and what a privilege to represent our team, our family, our class MBA 39. Before diving in, let me clarify that this is not a ChatGPT generated speech. Everything comes from my heart. Do you remember the first day we met? A group of 42 people from 20 different nationalities, each with our unique story, wallets thicker, sleep habits still intact, fully energized and ready to give our all. Now, here we are, transformed, with lifelong friendship, countless memories, challenges faced, and blessings counted. Together, we've celebrated marriages, supported one another on tough times, and shared jokes that had us making out laugh. Some were experts in running late out in class. Others embraced the benefits of a 10-minute power nap, despite the unpredictable Dutch weather. Some were riding their bike in the rain, others chose to walk, and others decided to take the bus. Some happily aimed for a 5.5. Others aimed higher grades, and others didn't just care about the grades at all, but about the learning process. And we did it. We survived countless case studies, tackled those desired group assignments, and became masters of last-minute assignments. We have learned not only about business, but also about ourselves. Coming from different backgrounds, we've learned, laughed, struggled, and celebrated together. What a great opportunity we've had to learn from each other and team up in moments of need. We're not just classmates, we've become a family. But what brought us here? You all come here for different reasons, life purposes, goals, dreams. We all were seeking a new opportunity, whether it was for a fresh start, to provide a brighter and better future for our families, to join and aim a higher position in the corporate world, to start or scale our own business. This journey was intense, wasn't it? But look how far we've come. I genuinely hope we'll soon be embracing that why, that reason that pushed us out of our comfort zone. So let's continue walking by faith. As we step forward, always remember, we have to believe in ourselves, in our team, in our people. Remember, there is no I in team. Let's shine by helping others shine. Let's help and give without expecting in return. Let's always be empathetic. Let's be resilient. Learn and grow from our mistakes, even when it hurts. Let's adapt, change direction, and readjust as needed. Let's continue investing in ourselves. Let's be agents of change. Let's make the difference, impact, and transform the atmospheres wherever we go. Never underestimate the power of our words. Our words have power. Let's use them wisely. Let's lead by example. Let's be the leader we would love to follow. Let's be authentic. Let's be real. Let's look for our best version. As we step into the future, let's stay connected. Our WhatsApp group, I love it. And continue to support one another. Let's cherish moments like the team building activity during the introduction week, drinking Glühwein in Aachen together, supporting each other during the thesis defense, quite tough ones, but we did it, we made it. This MBA taught us business, but the bonds we formed are truly priceless. On behalf of Class MBA 39, our gratitude is extended to our MBA mothers. Where are they? Karen and Pilar. For supporting and caring about us throughout this challenging journey. Thank you for your love, your time, and your patience with us. To our professors who equipped us with endless frameworks, those who helped us discover the beauty of data analysis and challenged us with case studies, peer-reviewed articles, APA referencing, and individual and group assignments. To our incredible thesis supervisors who gave us constant guidance, assistance, and feedbacks. Thank you for taking the best out of us during this thesis process. And for the past as well. To the entire staff, each one of you play a key role in making our MBA experience unforgettable. To our dear families and friends, both here and watching online, thank you for your love, your support, and for believing in us. You have been wind beneath our wings. Thank you, God. And thank you all for your support, your empathy, love, knowledge shared throughout all this year. MBA 39? We did it. Let's move forward to the next chapter of our life. Let's do it. Vamos! Vamos, equipo! Thank you for your attention. Wishing you all the best. Love you guys.
Vámonos. Thank you. I think none of you expected to hear the words family and love at graduation. It's not referring to your family who you love, but referring to your fellow students. That's one of the things we really love about what we're doing here at MSM, so thank you for that great words. Next, I want to invite up the representative from our executive MBA. This would be Fauzia Syed.
Thank you, Oliver. Good afternoon to our esteemed faculty, ever supportive families and friends, our honored guests, and to all my fellow graduates who have mastered the art of nodding thoughtfully during classes while frantically Googling concepts. Today, I stand before you with immense gratitude, overwhelming joy, and just a hint of disbelief that we have made it. Who would have thought that balancing a full-time job, family obligations, and an executive MBA would be easy? And by easy, I mean like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions or screws in the dark. It is a significant moment for me as the first in my family to earn a master's degree, and that too abroad. Is nothing short of a dream not built on the wings of privilege, but on hope, hard work, and countless cups of coffee. Growing up in a place where girls were often confined to traditional gender roles instead of being championed to seek degrees, the road to education isn't paved with encouragement, but rather with obstacles. Yet here I am, having overcome those obstacles and turning them into stepping stones. I want to address the incredible women in our graduating class. You have mastered the academic content, continually broken barriers, and shattered ceilings every step of the way. In this era of empowerment, you have shown courage, persistence, and refusal to conform to stereotypes paved the way for future generations. To all my fellow graduates, regardless of where you come from, know that your dreams, ambitions, and voices matter, even when they shake. Breaking barriers is about self-affirmation, about knowing that ceilings are just floors waiting to be stepped upon. And as a woman in the world of technical engineering, trust me, I have seen so many of them. To the faculty, thank you for your guidance, wisdom, and infinite patience. You have not only been our teachers, but our mentors, our sounding boards, and sometimes our therapists. We are grateful for your unwavering support and for pushing us to reach our fullest potential. A special shout out to Dolores. Where is she? Hi. Special shout out to Dolores. Thank you for organizing our online and offline classes and helping us adapt to this new way of learning while making sure we had enough coffee to stay awake during classes. Cheers to you, behind the scenes superstar. And to our families and friends, thank you for your unwavering support and love, even when we felt overwhelmed, questioned our abilities, and doubted whether we were on the right path. You stood by us and were our rocks. We will forever cherish the times when you pretended to understand our gibberish regarding our latest group projects or individual assignments. We could not have done this without you. Reflecting on our collective journey, we began as wide-eyed students, perhaps some of us envisioning that business school would be like the movies, a blend of dramatic presentations and glamorous coffee breaks. Instead, we found sleepless nights, challenging projects, deadlines one after another, and the unending quest for that ever-missing group member. You know who you are. Yet here we stand, unified by our shared experiences, challenges, and triumphs. Remember our resilience, especially for the executive MBA, especially during that one course where chaos reigned and we felt like lost lambs, but somehow passed. And let's not forget navigating a master's during a global pandemic, adjusting to new challenges we had never faced before, all with a smile. Many of us, being over 30, can vouch for the backaches from those endless 8-hour Zoom marathons. 8 straight days, folks. That's not magic. That is pure grit, refusing to back down. There were moments along this journey when the mountains of assignments seemed too steep to climb, readings too dense to comprehend, and the coffee too weak to sustain us. Yet here we are, receiving the reward of our hard work and dedication. The silent nods of understanding, the reassuring smiles before presentations, and the shared stories made all the difference. So as we step out, armed with our degrees and fueled by dreams, let's promise to chase success and significance, to not just do business, but to be human, and to remember that behind every ledger and spreadsheet lies a story, a dream, and a heartbeat. Here's to the dynamic class of 2023, poised to redefine the business world with humor, heart, and unwavering hope. Let's venture out and create stories worth telling. Thank you.
Okay, well, I think after that one, inspiring, we do need to get a Starbucks on campus because coffee came up 3 times during that, and you have chosen the right country, the country of coffee. So congratulations and thank you for the inspiring words there. We now have a representative from our online MBA. So you all had Zoom as an outlier during COVID. Our full-time programs fortunately started after Zoom. But this is a group that has become very well connected with online and Zoom, and they chose to be that way. So I'd like to welcome back to the stage the winner of our Student of the Year Award, Evelinda Ahlens.
Good afternoon. I'm very conscious that I'm standing between you and drinks, not coffee, so I'll try to speed it up. Welcome, esteemed guests, distinguished faculty, proud parents, cherished friends, and my fellow graduates, both those present here today and those joining us remotely. Today, I am profoundly honored to stand before you as the valedictorian of the remarkable class of 2023. My name is Evelinda, and I extend a heartfelt welcome to each of you who has gathered here today to partake in this extraordinary celebration. Before I delve further into my speech, I must begin with a profound expression of gratitude to my family, including my amazing children, Conrad and Elisa Mara, who I smuggled in just for this part. Your unwavering support, encouragement, and belief in my potential have been the bedrock upon which I've built my journey. Without your love and unwavering support, I would not be standing before all of you today. As I look out at this remarkable assembly of graduates, I'm struck by the diversity of gender, backgrounds, experiences, and aspirations that have converged in this very moment. It is a testament to the power of education and the strength of our shared purpose. For those who may not be acquainted with the intricacies of my personal journey, allow me to share a more intimate glimpse into my path. I have long exhibited a maverick spirit, a lone runner who finds solace in the uncharted territories of life. This disposition led me to make a bold decision, leaving a well-paid job at a multinational corporation to become an independent trustee board member. I sought solitude, free from the daily grind of office life. Even in my academic pursuits, I deliberately chose an online MBA program, partly to avoid the traditional classroom setting and the dynamics of working closely with my classmates. My competitive spirit, sometimes bordering on obsession, even led me to question professors when my grades fell short of perfection. Throughout my life, I have held fast to a personal mantra. Those who tread a solitary life often possess the strongest wings. However, as we embarked on this MBA journey together, I found my beliefs profoundly challenged. What initially began as a mere WhatsApp group for sharing expectations on assignments quickly evolved into a tight-knit community of individuals from diverse cultural, professional, and personal backgrounds. Within this melting pot of perspectives, we experience moments of friction, awe, and mutual respect. Over time, we transformed from mere classmates into true friends and confidants. In the wise words of Richard Stallman, sharing knowledge is the most fundamental act of friendship because it is a way you can give something without losing anything. Thank you, classmates, for sharing your knowledge and friendship. Doei, your unwavering leadership in the face of adversity continues to inspire us all. Anna, your experiences during the war in Ukraine opened our eyes to a world of complexity and geopolitics. What you might not have known is that your story frequently surfaced in board meetings, serving as a poignant reminder that actions of governments do not always reflect the will of the people. Your experiences had a far-reaching impact on boardroom decisions, proving that our collective voice carries the potential for profound change. But every member in our class played an instrumental role in helping one another, facing and navigating the myriad challenges we had to conquer. Whether it was deciphering the intricacies of demanding professors or providing a supportive shoulder during personal crises, we stood as pillars of strength for one another. In the midst of our relentless academic pursuits, we bore witness to the birth of children, celebrated career advancements, mourned the loss of jobs, and bid heartfelt goodbyes to loved ones. All of this while juggling late-night deadlines and the demands of our daily jobs. To all of you, I say with the utmost admiration, well done. To attain an MBA degree, one must embody unwavering commitment, adaptability, talent, and unwavering integrity. These qualities echo the significance of diversity within a theme, a dimension that enriches our understanding and enhances our collective abilities. My emphasis on gender diversity is intentional, driven not only by my recognition as a recipient of the Female Ambassador Scholarship, but more importantly, by the well-documented impact of gender diversity on fostering broader diversity and inclusion. Gender diversity, a vital aspect of diversity as a whole, holds immense significance in today's world. It's not merely a checkbox to be ticked, but a powerful catalyst for innovation and progress. In our MBA journey, we've learned the power of diversity firsthand. We've seen how our collective strength, enriched by different perspectives, has elevated our own capabilities and enabled us to tackle complex challenges more effectively. Albert Einstein once sagely noted, "A person's ability to change is a measure of intelligence." I stand before you today as living proof of that statement. I've evolved into a team player with one essential caveat. The team must be forged with diversity and inclusion in mind, embracing critical mass as a catalyst for innovation. Our MBA journey served as an extensive training ground for improving organizations and, by extension, the world. Now it's our time to put our knowledge and experiences into practice. This path has not been without its trials, often taking a toll on our professional and personal lives, as well as our families. Nevertheless, it has also enriched us with wisdom, empathy, and the resilience required to give back. The enhanced versions of ourselves bear the responsibility of making the world a better place. We find ourselves in a world teeming with both uncertainty and opportunity, where ceilings, whether made of glass or other materials, stand waiting to be shattered. Nelson Mandela, a beacon of wisdom and compassion, once declared, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Our world is in dire need of leaders who can facilitate this essential transition. By staying true to ourselves and harnessing the knowledge we've acquired, we have not only the opportunity, but the sacred responsibility to become the authentic leaders the world urgently requires today and tomorrow. In conclusion, I issue a heartfelt challenge to each of my fellow graduates. Embrace the importance of diversity in all its forms, including gender diversity. Embrace this responsibility with open hearts and eager minds. Let us move forward with the robust wings of our experiences and the diverse perspectives we've gained, ready to make an indelible mark on the world. Together, we possess the collective power to change the world for the better, to break down barriers, and to build a more inclusive and diverse future. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2023.
Wow, amazing. Thank you for that. And we're learning too. The online MBA is our youngest child in our family, and we learn a lot. And we've learned a lot from your class. And we've been impressed with all of you, and thank you for those kind words, those great words of wisdom. You were wrong about one thing, though. You aren't standing in between this and the refreshments. There's still 2 more speakers that are standing in between refreshments. So you're safe on that. No, we're really proud this year. This marks a significant year, as Meinhard Gantz said earlier in the day. This is a significant year for us, as this is our first full, complete year as a part of Maastricht University School of Business and Economics, which also makes us especially proud to have as our next speaker the Dean of the Maastricht University School of Business and Economics, Ms. Marielle Heltjes, Dr. Heltjes. Let me give a short introduction, though. Prior to taking up her role as Dean of SBE, she combined the managerial responsibilities of leading Maastricht's Professional Development Division, UMIO, with designing and delivering executive education in the field of leadership. So Dr. Heltjes is a full professor in managerial behavior and has extensive international experience in working with executives and top management teams on questions relating to their effectiveness. Clients include many that you would recognize, such as APG, the huge Dutch pension group, Daimler, the European Heart Academy, Philips Healthcare, Unilever, Vodafone, and World Bank, as well as smaller regionally and nationally operating public and private institutions. She's taught on the executive MBA programs at Maastricht University, Trium, which is a combination with HEC Paris, London School of Economics, and Stern School of Business at NYU, New York University, as well as Reykjavik University. In addition, she is frequently invited as a speaker, panelist, or moderator at different events and programs worldwide. Now, translating academic research into actionable knowledge, that's what we're about at the business school, and this has been one of her experiences and contributed to the development of globally responsible leaders, which is an important source of inspiration in her work with practitioners. Her research on the behavior of top managers has been published in international academic journals, such as the Academy of Management Review, Small Group Research, the Journal of International Business Studies, the International Journal of Human Resource Management and Organization Studies. And you still have time to be the dean. So, in addition to her role at SBE, she currently serves in the International Advisory Boards of UTS Business School, an Australian school, EADA, a Spanish school, Centrum, PUCP, one of our partners in Peru in the past, and as commissioner of the Supervisory Board of Mecc, where we stand now. So you're right at home here, and we're very honored to have you speak, and we're happy to have you as our leader, bringing the practical as well as the academic to the students. So I welcome to the stage Dean Marielle Heltjes.
What an introduction. Thank you very much, Oliver. Well, good afternoon, graduating classes, I should say, and of course, family and friends of those that graduate. I think it's It's a difficult position to stand here because I've just heard 3 speeches by representatives of the graduating classes that were phenomenal. And I can see you nodding in the audience that I'm not going to top that off. But still, I want to take some time, first of all, of course, to congratulate you as graduates, but not only you, but also your family, friends, or loved ones, because I think those are the ones that also have been there for you in good times and in bad times, and maybe also deserve as much applause as you do as graduates during this journey. So congratulations to you and the people that supported you during this time. Now, as also the other speeches made apparent, today is a day of celebration, and it is also a day of reflection, because today a new journey starts, but also a journey ends. And I think celebration is something that most of us do not find so hard to do. I mean, we'll be out of there with drinks in a minute. But reflection is often more easily skipped in a context that is extremely busy for all of you, especially in the turbulent reality of today. And I think that's kind of a pity, because reflection is, in essence, the key ingredient that makes you keep learning. And since for now you're stuck here anyhow in the lecture hall-based seats, we are going to go to celebration in a minute with the drinks. I think I'll take some time to focus on that reflection, and specifically focus on reflection on what personal characteristics, distinctive qualities, or circumstances, and circumstances that made it possible for you to proudly receive your MBA diploma today. Because we heard, yes, of course, you completed all the coursework. Of course, you passed all your exams. You wrote a thorough final thesis, which you defended successfully. But that's only part of the story. Your MBA diploma is a certification of the cognitive knowledge that you obtained. But it does not necessarily specify all the other things that the graduation speeches talked about, and that you really made you grow as human beings. It's the experiences in group dynamics in the groups that you referred to during your coffee breaks. It's the giving the presentations during class. It's waiting for the group members that might or might not showed up. It's translating what you learned in class to your professional environment. All those things matter. And then the question becomes, how did this informal learning shape you? Because you demonstrated in the face of difficulty and turbulence that you were able to persevere, that you are resilient in the accomplishment of your goal. And despite the fact that this whole process might have gotten you angry, afraid, despaired at some moments. And in all 3 speeches it was mentioned, so I think that perseverance and resilience are characteristics that you all share. But given the diversity that I see in this graduating class, I am pretty sure that the experience through which this perseverance and resilience manifested itself will have many different faces. For some of you, it might have been a very enjoyable ride. For others, it might have felt like a challenging obstacle course. And maybe for still others, as we also heard, it was simply a long journey in which you never, ever, ever gave up. So understanding what your particular experience looks like, what enabled you to persevere and be resilient, and recognize how you shaped your own time here are important insights for your future journey. So my objective here with this almost final speech of the ceremony is to still give you a little bit more food for thought, to make your own narrative regarding your own learning experience more explicit. So in addition to your MBA diploma, you can paint an even richer picture of the true value of your time spent with us here in Maastricht. And while I say this, I know that making informal learning explicit and asking yourself these questions is not an easy or a self-evident task. On the contrary, it's actually very, very, very hard work. So how do I know this? And I think Oliver alluded to it in his introduction, because besides holding the role of Dean of SBE, I am also this professor of managerial behavior, and I work with lots of people in leadership roles, in very different backgrounds and in very different contexts. People like you, people in early career, mid-career, very senior top managers at all different hierarchical levels, and in essence, all people that were trying to make sense of the complexity that they saw around them, that were trying to lead themselves and their teams as adequately as they could and to the best of their ability. And as you can imagine, with all the current technological and economic and political, ecological and social developments, this is a very, very demanding task. It requires that you are able to see the many different perspectives on challenges that follow from these developments. It requires that you do not immediately judge what you see or simply quickly choose one of the perspectives to move ahead quickly with. It requires that you're able to navigate through all the different paradoxes that result from these different perspectives. And I'm very, very, very sure that during your studies, you have been very well equipped with the intellectual ability and curiosity to explore these different developments. But as your other experiences beyond the classes will differ given the diversity that you have here, I'm also convinced that your ability to move from this intellectually understand matters to actually passionately engage as a whole person will vary tremendously. And passionately engage. Some of you might think that's something you'd love to do. Others might really frown and think, well, passionately engage, is that what it takes to succeed in a professional world? Is intellectually understand maybe not enough? Well, from what I've seen, I think the answer is unfortunately not. It's even worse. I think beyond the intellectually understand, you need to passionately engage in all aspects of life to actually lead a fulfilling life. And that exactly brings me back to the importance of reflection on your own journey during the MBA. And I promise to give you some reflection questions that could help you clarify or make more explicit this informal learning. Because the first question to explore then becomes, do you truly now understand what drives you? Do you understand what is your purpose in your work that you currently have, or in life in general? Why did you get up in the morning all these times that you went to your MBA classes or sat behind the online Zoom screen? Why do you get up in the morning to go to work? What possibilities do you see there? And they are not easy questions. It took me years to find answers to some of them, and I think, in essence, they're a lifelong journey that I really hope that you embark on with you yourself as the unit of analysis for the time to come. And that as the years progress and you accumulate more and more experiences, that the answer to those questions become clearer and clearer. And when the answer becomes clearer at a time, I think it helps you shape this personal anchor that keeps you stable and navigate all these contradicting forces and paradoxes that you will encounter in the rest of your life. A second question in your reflection on your time during your MBA, and I think it's at the core of resilience, which is a term which was often used during the previous speeches, and it is also what enables you to keep learning or function effectively at the boundaries of your comfort zone. I think the previous speaker also mentioned comfort zone, and you're in your comfort zone when your behavior and your thoughts and your feelings are in this automated pattern. And it's an automated pattern, so you don't really necessarily know that it's even going on. For example, just transport yourself back to that moment when you were in class, comfortable with the dynamics of a professor talking up there, you sitting in your seat, pretty certain that you won't be asked a question. Or maybe sitting in your seats there now, pretty comfortable that I will not call on you. When I would, something would happen, and that would probably move you towards the edge of your comfort zone. And that is exactly what it is about, because the comfort zone, that's a comfortable place. But also, if you stay there too long, you will learn nothing new. So beyond the comfort zone is actually where the magic happens. And that's also where the learning takes place. And you can sense the boundaries of that comfort zone when the automated and predictable patterns are being disrupted. For example, that happened during COVID, when all education was moved online. It happened when you maybe way back think when you did your first job interview or your first presentation somewhere. And the interesting learning occurs that when you can observe, recognize, and understand your behavior when you feel so uncomfortable. So what happens in you? Do you try to avoid these situations in the future? So in essence, you flee back to your comfort zone? Do you quietly wait until the storm passes? So you go back to the comfort zone afterwards? Or do you fight the disruption to go back to the comfort zone when you have defeated the disrupting force? Or can you adopt an inner attitude of courage? An inner attitude of courage that enables you to step into this uncomfortable situation and learn. And to understand what an inner attitude of courage means to you will provide you with invaluable information on how you cope with the challenges that a complex context will pose. Those of you that changed jobs already during the past years, or you took up new hobbies or other challenges, will have experienced it already, what it means to be courageous in this sense. It's stepping into a new and unfamiliar situation, which is sometimes even scary, but with a willingness to learn. And of course, you don't have to wait until another study-related or work-related experience to explore this. From my own experience, I can share my experiment with practicing flying trapeze, and some of you have seen the videos. And why it's courage for me is because I'm afraid of heights. And at the same time, I've learned that I can tremendously enjoy the sport and learn something new each time at every practice. Because if I'm at the flying trapeze platform 8 meters above the ground, noticing still my bodily reactions to fear start shaking and reactions to stress, and at the same time finding ways to successfully regulate this, stay focused and keep learning, that has been an invaluable experience for many, many, many other work-related occasions in my life, especially when I found out that even such a situation can be fun. So, my dear graduates, my wish for all of you flows from what I just told you, that as a graduate from the MBA, you will not only present your diploma, but that you will also be able to make all of your learnings during this journey explicit. That you'll be able to share the narrative on how you shaped your perseverance and resilience that you showed during your studies. That you gained insight in what enabled you to engage with passion, and that you embrace continuous learning with a courageous inner attitude, even if that feels uncomfortable. And should you have an off day, I hope that my favorite quote from the Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard will get your inspiration back on track. Because he said, "To dare is to lose one's footing momentarily, but to not dare is to lose oneself." Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Helches. A lot to think about. You graduated and now you have a new homework assignment, but an important one, just like during Career Week when we said it's not about what you want to be, it's who do you want to be. And we're happy to help you get there. If you've been keeping track of the time, I promised you we're going to have a 3-hour ceremony, which means that we have 5 minutes left in which to show you this great video. So I will ask to all sit back and enjoy as we get to the end of today's ceremony. There's still one more thing after this. Please.
I would say it's been a great experience right from the start, even before I started studying here actually.
I think I will take back as many memories as I can, frankly.
I enjoyed my time at MSM thoroughly.
Especially the team building that we did at the beginning of the year was really, really fun.
And that was the first time we worked together.
We had to do things like build a bridge.
Needed to build a tower, but our tower wasn't that stable, so
it fell. It was bad. Yeah. At the international dinner, I actually made a South African dish which is called hodu.
It was so good.
I enjoyed the Russian salad a lot.
Stroopwafel, yeah, that I like it. That I like it really.
A bit too sweet for my taste.
Carnival event is so impressive.
5 days of just non-stop partying. Yeah.
I never saw so many colors on the streets and people parading.
No, this is my first time and I'm just having fun. I don't want it to end.
It's really so much fun, and the crazier that people act, the better, so it's really fun.
I was fortunate enough to get selected for the National SDG Challenge. We pitched for Johnson & Johnson and we actually gave them a viable business plan.
So we help them to implement new change so that they can be sustainable.
And that's like practical experience which nobody can take from you.
it was also very interesting that companies, they give so much opportunities for students to apply their knowledge and also to bring some initiative.
And I really enjoyed all the group work and the interactions with people from so many different nationalities and cultural and professional backgrounds.
Where I have learned many valuable lessons, I've met inspirational people from all over the world, and I have made friends for life.
I would like to thank the MSM staff, the professors and my classmates for the exciting experience I had at the university.
I'm now fully sure that I'm equipped with relevant knowledge and skills, and I will miss my MBA days.
My time at MSM was amazing.
For me, it was life-changing, I believe.
Oh, it's a really beautiful city.
I really always loved Maastricht.
I enjoy the culture, I enjoy all the processes, social politics.
There are a lot of things to do here and a lot of people to meet.
Thank you to the staff for putting together that great video. I love it when a plan comes together. We're now at the end of the ceremony. Very important announcements to make, and then the most important part of the ceremony yet to come for the photo. Now we invite you for the dinner party as a reminder at Rebel, which will take place from 6 o'clock until 11 o'clock this evening. Make sure you're all present if you're taking the bus at 5:30, at the main entrance near parking 4. If you did not receive your parking ticket earlier, remember to get your parking ticket on your way out by the cloakroom on this side. There will be 2 MSM staff members handing out parking tickets. So, last but not least, to bring the day to an end, I would like to invite Dr. Stuart Dixon, our Director of Education, and let him, Director of Academics and the Academic Coordinator for the MBA programs. Now, briefly about Stuart, he completed his PhD at the European University Institute in Florence, Italy, and he specialized in the area of industrial economics, which you don't teach any industrial economics here, Stuart. He's also the director of the Euro MBA, a blended learning MBA program, as well as being the senior lecturer at Maastricht University School of Business and Economics. He was our link to UMSBE for many years before we were formally a part of UMSBE. Before working with MSM, he was also the director of the bachelor's program at Maastricht University's School of Business Economics, as well as being the academic coordinator of the Maastricht MBA. He currently teaches courses in strategic management and industrial economics when he can. His current interests are in the area of scenario planning and market dynamics. Stuart, I will hand the podium over to you to bring us to a close.
We've run over time because the Oppenheimer film was 3 hours long and we're 2 minutes over. Yeah. No, anyway, I am not going to say anything, to be honest, because I'm standing here and there are hundreds of people in this room who want to go have a drink and have some fun tonight. But before we can go and have some fun, we're going to have a bit of fun here. And you know what that is, huh? It's about the throwing of the hat in the air. But the way we do it this time is to get everybody onto the stage. So our photographer can climb up the wall at the back there and make a beautiful picture of everybody. Also family members also come forward and take some pictures. But you will have to coordinate this, huh? So we can't have people like throwing the hat up at the wrong time because you can only do it once. So I'm going to say the usual words, class of 2023, you are dismissed, and then whoop, you are dismissed, and then your arms go flying in the air with your hats. Let go of them, of course. Okay? So I think the next task is to get all of our graduates now onto the stage, and then I'll grab another microphone to tell you when to throw your hats. Yeah, if you could all move a little bit to the center. Unfortunately, the room is not big enough, I think, to get to use the whole stage. So we'll keep moving it to the back. Into the middle, everybody. Yes, that's right, yeah. Family members, if you want to, you can come maybe to the seats at the front here and you can take some pictures yourselves. Move a bit more this way, everybody. A little bit more to middle. Yeah? Yeah, you ready? Okay, everybody, hold on. Don't touch those hats yet. I know these trigger fingers, these things go flying up and then it's a mess. Okay, are you ready, everybody? You listening? Yeah. So, here we go. Class of 2023, you are dismissed. Okay, everybody, let's go.